Hi, I'm sex and relationship coach Caitlin B, and today let's talk about anal sex. Ba-ba-da. Or perhaps most commonly known as butt stuff. Butt stuff! Anal sex. You want it, and your partner doesn't want to give it to you. The age-old conundrum. Actually, probably not age-old. It's probably more recent. I feel like anal sex has gotten a lot more popular. I mean, certainly in the last couple hundred years as we've had sanitation and soap and running water, but also I think more recent, just in the past 20 or 30 years, I think anal sex is really, really popular. One theory I have is that millennials are really into butts, like big butts, butts on Instagram. Butts have their own like culture. Butts are a big thing today. Also porn. Porn's a lot more popular, a lot more accessible than it has ever been, and because we all like get tired and desensitized of just looking at the same porn, like anal is one way of diversifying porn without needing like a whole bunch of different actors or actresses or doing more extreme stuff. So anyways, all of which is to say that there's plenty of reasons that you might want to do anal sex. It is taboo, it is different, it is novel for sure. If you've been having sex with your partner for a long time, it is a great way to spice things up. And the anus has got a butt ton. It's got a lot of nerve endings, okay? So it can be really pleasurable. It can be pleasurable for the giving partner and for the receiving partner when done correctly. But this video is all about how to get your partner to have anal sex with you, which presumes that you have perhaps spoken to them about it before, brought it up. Maybe you haven't, but you're thinking more than likely they're not as interested. They don't share your interest in having anal sex. So I am going to address all of that and more in this video. But before I do, I invite you to travel on down here somewhere and click the subscribe button so that you don't miss any more awesome tips about how to get the sex life that you want. All right, back to the butt. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the average man wants to experience anal sex, and the average female partner feels kind of disgusted when she hears those words. And there's plenty of good reasons, gentlemen, for her to feel that way. It's new. It sounds like something that porn stars do. She's imagining that it's going to hurt, that it's going to be dirty. She probably doesn't know that much about it, and she probably hasn't watched a bunch of women on porn taking it in the butt the way that you have. So you probably are thinking like, oh man, it's super simple, everybody does it. And she's thinking, when's the last time that none of my friends talk about anal? Anal's not something that I do. Anal's for dirty girls. Anal's for sluts. Anal's for porn stars. She has a lot of reasons that she's coming from the perspective that she is. So I want to start by prefacing that. Listen, women don't just make stuff up from nowhere. They have reasons to feel the way that they do. Her reasons for maybe not wanting to have anal sex are totally valid. And if you treat them as valid before you even start this conversation, I swear she's going to feel way more heard, way more understood, way more loved and cared for, and all of those feelings are going to be what eventually unlocks her back door. Here's the truth. The anus has got a bad reputation, but it didn't earn it, okay? It's not dirty. No poop is stored in the anus, and it's not painful if done correctly. But chances are good that maybe some guy tried to stick a finger in there when he was drunk or she was drunk and she didn't have a great time. It hurt really bad. Maybe even she bled. She's got reasons. Again, anus has got a bad rep. We're here to solve that. How do we go about doing that? Number one, she probably has perfectly valid reasons that she's not interested in exploring anal. And it's your job to ask what those are and come up with creative solutions and not just feel bogged down by a no. Perhaps by having a conversation with her, you can learn more about what her reasons are, what her thoughts are, what her beliefs are about anal sex, and then cleverly introduce information that contradicts those thoughts or beliefs. Like, for example, she might think that there's going to be poop and that's going to gross you out, and then you're going to find her body gross and you're not going to want to have sex with her anymore. You can say to her, well, hey, poop is not stored in the anus or in the first few inches of the rectum, so no worries there. And even if there were poop, I won't be grossed out. I know that there's a risk of that, and I'm willing to plan for it, and I would never judge you or think you were gross if that were to be the case. Super simple. It doesn't take a whole lot of creativity, but it's going to take you really, really far in having this whole conversation. Number two, but really perhaps should come first, is analyze your sex life. Like, how good is your sex life? Because right now, if you're not having a great sex life and then suddenly you come to her and you're like, listen, I know that we haven't been intimate in a year, but how do you feel about taking it up the butt? It's probably not going to go over that well. How satisfied is she with your sex life? Is she reaching orgasm every time? Is she feeling pleased and satisfied? Does she initiate sex? And even if she doesn't initiate sex, does she enthusiastically have sex when she does? These are all really important questions. Anal's not going to fix something if it's broken. It's more like the cherry on top of the icing of the cake that you two have been baking together. So your sex life should already be awesome, and you should be someone who she wants to have sex with. Like, if you are not taking care of yourself, not treating yourself well, your hygiene is bad, you don't shave clean, work out regularly, whatever the man that she initially fell in love with was doing, and now you're kind of taking a back seat to all that, and now you're expecting her to take it up the butt? Like, man, maybe hit the gym, maybe make sure that she's coming frequently, go down on her, whatever it is that she likes, get all that in place before you make this ask. And then make the ask. Then you can make the ask from a strong, grounded perspective instead of like coming off as sort of needy or feeling like this is going to save your sex life, when really it's just one of the awesome tools in the endless toolbox of sex and sexuality. Tip number 3. Anal sex is not an all or nothing prospect. Okay? There's tons of steps along the way to creating this environment or the situation in which anal sex could be great. Number 1, you could start fantasizing about it with her. You could start introducing it into your dirty talk. Number 2, you could do some work that is not penetrative, so like leading up to anal sex. So the next time you have sex, you ask her if it's okay for you to put a dry finger just on the outside of her anus. And then you move up to a lubricated finger on the inside, like penetrating her anus with a finger. Not one of these nails, like short nails, well-groomed finger. Maybe a finger with a finger condom or a regular condom over it, so that after you pull your finger out of her anus, you can just pull off that condom, throw it to the side, and you don't need soap or anything, and there's no smell. You just have a perfectly clean finger. You move up to those, then maybe you move up to penetration with no movement, and then ultimately penetration with movement. And don't forget, there are tons of great toys like butt plugs that you can utilize along the way. And perhaps if she's not even into that, you could fantasize about having anal sex while you are having vaginal sex. Like, you could talk it out. You could pretend that that is her anus. You could buy a pocket pussy, one of those, a fleshlight, a toy along those lines that looks like an anus. You could put that on her back or near her anus and have sex with that. You could be part of a fantasy for the two of you before you actually manifest it in reality. After you're there, once you are to the point where you are ready to have penetrative anal sex, a couple things to keep in mind. Number 1, lube, 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 lube. I highly recommend a silicone-based lube, as long as you're not using a silicone toy, because it doesn't dry out very quickly. It's also a lot thicker, so it stays where you put it, which is ideal for anal sex, because the feeling of having something running, like liquid dripping outside of your anus, is turn off. Silicone lube is very thick, very viscous, and so it typically doesn't just run, and it can be really actually a great tool for making sure that things stay slick. Remember that the anus is not self-lubricating like the vagina. No matter what, it's not going to produce any liquid, any lubrication, so it needs to be lubricated by external lube. If you've seen my channel before, you might know that I'm a fan of Uberlube. Uberlube? And no, they didn't pay me for this. I just love this stuff. It's a silicone-based lube. It's in this beautiful clear glass bottle. It's made near where I live in Illinois. And it's really simple. And you can use it for flyaways to tame your hair. So I think win-win-win. Finally, consider having a towel nearby or some wet wipes, because in that moment you don't want to be scrambling to find something if there is a little bit of fecal matter or a smell. And then also consider condoms. Condoms make for a very smooth entrance. Condoms with lube together can make things a lot easier, especially the first couple times that you're trying anal sex. One other thing to keep in mind is that you can do anal sex from different positions. So for me, I had a couple bad experiences with anal sex. I had a couple non-consensual experiences with anal sex. My first ever boyfriend had heard from somewhere that if you just regularly touched a girl's anus, that she would become more comfortable with the idea of having anal sex. And so he was constantly touching my anus and never explained to me why. And then when I learned that, I felt really manipulated. Like, I did not like that feeling. I didn't like that he had been doing this thing instead of just asking me, hey, can we try this? I'm interested in it. So I had a lot of negative feelings about it, a lot of like, I just don't think it's for me, right? Which is hard because as a sex coach, I want to be open to everything. Like, I think it's really important for myself that I try everything at least a few times, because if enough other people like it, there's a chance that I'm going to like it. And so I kind of had put anal off and said that was not for me. And then my partner asked me if we could try it. He was interested. We were initially falling in love and exploring sex together, and he showed me that you could have anal sex and still have eye contact, which was something that I was really missing. Eye contact is really important to me. So I had thought you had to be in doggy style, essentially, like woman facing the bed or the floor or the couch or whatever, and the man behind her. And that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of what we think of when we think of anal sex. But if you are reasonably flexible, and that's reasonably, like most human beings are flexible enough to accomplish this, as the receptive partner, you can actually be laying on your back with your knees pulled up closer to your chest, and then the giving partner, the insertive partner, can be in front of you. So it's like missionary style sex, but instead of penetrating the vagina, you're penetrating the anus. This way you can maintain eye contact, you can be communicating with each other, this feels good, slow down, this angle, move to the left, to the right. You can go faster, you can go harder, right? But when you can read someone, all of that verbal communication is backed up by being able to read their body language, by being able to monitor their breathing. That way you know if your partner's like, and they stop breathing, that's a good time to check in with them and say, hey, is everything okay? Do you want me to stop, right? So you can get creative with this. If you ask your partner what their objections to anal sex are, why they don't want to do it, whether that's, I'm going to not be able to look in your eyes, I think it's dirty, I'm afraid of the smell, that's just for dirty girls, then you can enter into a conversation that's going to open the door and allow you to explore anal sex gradually, again, because it's not just all or nothing. You can get really creative and have a ton of fun with all of the awesome nerve endings and delicious feelings that can come from this particular part of the human body. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you find it useful. If you did, or you have additional questions about anal, please type them in the comments below. And of course, please do subscribe. I would love to share this and so much more information with you to help you have the best sex of your life. Butt stuff.